The company is a not-for-profit company, which was a spin-out of a project with the County Enterprise Board, the former, what the LEO is now. I was the Creative Enterprise Development Manager there for a number of years, and we set up a company in 2006 to promote craft and design businesses in the county. We tried to find an old building that we could refurbish, and I know that's what's happening here in Ballahadreen, but we weren't successful in that, and we were lucky then that the County Council was able to give us a piece of land, and we decided to build a custom or purpose-built building, and then we had to find the money for that. So Enterprise Ireland were the first funders to come on board in 2008 under the Community Enterprise Centre scheme. We got $500,000 under that scheme, and then it took another year to bring the IFI on board, but they came on board and they not only matched that funding, but they also gave us some operational funding and asked us to develop a community relations plan. So over the next 2 years, it took me another 2 years then to bring the rest of these the cocktail of funders together. But eventually we did it, and we managed to put together a 1.8 million package, and we started building in 2011 and we opened in 2012. So I suppose what we do in Creative Spark is we have 3 strands or 3 pillars, and each of those pillars can come into more focus on different days or during different projects. So we're a creative enterprise community centre, and those are the 3 things that we try to promote and work through. In terms of enterprise, we are first and foremost an enterprise centre, and we're trying to support small businesses, either newly established or established businesses, in enterprise and innovation to grow and scale within and to keep them within our region. We provide a very affordable workspace in a beautiful building. So we have individual offices, we have co-working, we offer postal address services, meeting rooms, we have a ceramic studio, a print studio, and we have a classroom. We also have an artist in residence studio, which I haven't included on that slide. At the moment we have 25 businesses employing 37 people working in Creative Spark, and you can see that they're from all the broad spectrum of creativity. So anything from, we have a film production studio, we have an architect, we have a drama teacher, we have candle makers, so we have visual artists as well. So it's very broad, and we define creativity very broadly, as John has already done. It is hard to define it, and it's better to keep it broad and to bring people together. We also have 20, we actually have 22 at the moment, artists who are members of our print studio. So these people are all working together alongside each other. We provide a lot of training for them, both ourselves and working very closely with our LEO in County Louth. We bring them together once a month for what we call a lunch and learn, where they all speak about their own businesses, and it's really a great way of kind of bringing them together and letting them know what each company does. Last year, as part of Irish Design 2015, we ran a conference on 3D printing and digital fabrication, because we see that as kind of the next thing that we might be interested in promoting. Recently we ran a training course on using video, so creating digital content for your own business. So very practical, hands-on courses for business people. We run a Start Your Own Craft and Design business. We brought some of these people through from the business basics, and then they pitched to our tenants as well, so it was kind of a learning curve for them. Design thinking is something that it's very topical at the moment, so we ran a 1-day workshop on design thinking processes during Enterprise Week this year, and we're kicking off a 5-week program in September with Lindsay Ryan, who's actually local to here, I think. So looking at how we can use design and creativity in all businesses, so not just for creative businesses, but this is trying to introduce creativity to other sectors. So whether it's using design thinking for developing a product or developing a service, hopefully this will start to get people thinking about how they can use their own creativity within businesses. So this is for anybody. At the moment we're involved in another Erasmus project, which is called Enter, which is looking at how you can support enterprise in interface areas. So this is really looking at our situation on the border and the challenges that the community would have living and working on the border, and the challenges that there might be for setting up and growing small enterprises in that situation. We have partners then in Belfast. East Belfast Enterprise Centre is the lead partner there. and the Netherlands and Croatia. So it's a really interesting project looking at sort of best practice in those countries and on those interface areas about how we can support small business. Networking obviously is a huge part of what we try to do, and I suppose that was one of the key visions for Creative Spark, was that it was going to bring creative people together and small businesses together. And this is us having a barbecue on one of the rare sunny days we've had this year. And it's really, it is a social event, but it's very important for just developing those relationships between our tenants, and it encourages peer mentoring between the companies. We're also a member of the National Association of Community Enterprise Centres, which for me is invaluable as a manager of an enterprise centre, that I can go along and meet other enterprise centre managers and share our worries and hopefully some of our solutions with each other. So I find that a really valuable network to be part of. And we're also then involved in the Creative Hubs EU, which is a European project which is trying to support creative hubs all over Europe, and they've done a fantastic mapping exercise on creative hubs. That's led out by the British Council. Just some of the numbers, I suppose I touched on some of this, that we have 25 occupants. We've graduated 13 companies, and they're all still in business, which is really fantastic for us, that some of them have grown and spread their wings and moved on, but they still come back to us. We've had a lot of training course participants. I'll talk a little bit about more about some of those. So the creative strand, then we provide lots of creative training within the building, and we try and use that whether it's for community goals or enterprise advancement. So people might learn a skill just for themselves, or it might be something that they're thinking about developing a business for. So we provide lots of different disciplines training. So ceramics and printmaking are our key ones. Textiles is growing. I think certainly during the recession, a lot of people were very interested in learning to make things again. So we have a really vibrant sewing and knitting group, but we teach a lot as well. We have a fashion designer who's actually teaching pattern cutting, so people are learning proper skills. It's not really just a hobby, so they're coming and they're learning skills, and some of them then are coming along and participating in our Grow Your Craft and Design business course. We have a fantastically kitted out state-of-the-art fine art print studio, so we have 22 members there, so that's just been open for 2 years, so it's early days still for that. We run lots of different workshops and courses for all ages. We have, last week we did a robot making camp for teenagers, which was great. We had 9 boys. I've never seen 9 boys stay so quiet and work so hard for 5 days. They were fantastic. And we've run wood shop, so carpentry for teenagers. So trying to tap into things that will actually get people interested in coming along and doing something creative. And again, that feeds into then the whole idea of community and using creative practice to try and engage our local community. And we have a very keen social engagement ethos, I think, within Creative Spark, and we are trying to do something different, which isn't always easy. We try to run as many free community events as we can, and again, that's a challenge because the funding is a real challenge to try and deliver things free of charge. So we've done things like community mapping. We try and get involved in national events like the Altana or National Drawing Day, Design Week, so to try and raise the profile of Creative Spark as well. We've run some cross-border projects. These would have been peace-funded projects, and hopefully this will happen again when Peace 4 finally kicks in. So we had a great 2-year project which was looking at the Battle of the Boyne and its relevance to people in County Louth at the moment. So as you can see, a very diverse group of people who weren't born in Ireland, and looking at, well, what is the Battle of the Boyne and what does it mean to me? And this was something that we actually toured to Banbridge and a few other places in Northern Ireland. And then we're working with Seacourt Print Studio in Bangor as well on cross-border projects. Again, this is another peace-funded project which was working with a group of traveller women. So we took them through a 26-week course on dressmaking, and at the end of it there was a small start your own business course as well. So it was really trying to get them engaged with us in the beginning, so it was very softly, and then trying to kind of instill some ideas about possibly using some of their skills to start a small business. Similar project then, Ethnic Women's Stories Through Craft. This was much more socially engaged. It ended with they shared a lot of stories about food and culture and cooking, and then at the end they had a community meal where they invited their families along. We ran a second iteration of this last year then, where they actually wanted to learn to make vessels based on their own traditional cooking vessels, and they had a pop-up bistro in the town centre in a vacant space, and they also produced a recipe book which they sold in aid of a local soup kitchen. So that was just, I suppose, trying to bring that creativity and maybe a little bit of entrepreneurialism into it at the end. The centre is used by lots of different community groups as well. We have a couple of schools that use it for classes. We have a few craft groups that use the centre independently to us. So I suppose that just kind of going back to this, that those three pillars, they're always turning, but I suppose, but they're the kind of three key elements within what we're trying to do. And why are we doing it? I suppose we believe that what we're doing will make a difference in the place that we're doing it in. We're trying to make a difference in Dundalk and County Louth. And we believe that creative and cultural activity empowers and motivates people. I love this definition of placemaking, and I think it'll probably resonate with Ballahadreen, that placemaking is a deliberate and conscious decision to make a place for people or for a community. And implicit in this is the desire to make a place better. And I think that's what we're striving to do every day. So I suppose just Orla had asked me to look at some of the challenges for us. One of our key challenges, and I think it will be a key challenge here, is your location. People come into me all the time from Dublin and they say, if this was in Dublin it would be full, and it'd be so busy. And I go, well, it's not in Dublin, it's in Dundalk. And so that is a big challenge, that you kind of say, well, we are where we are and we have to work with what we have. So occupancy rates have been a challenge. We're lucky at the moment, we're 85% full. But that has been a challenge, and remaining true to the vision and keeping my board to remain true to the vision that it is for creative industries, and that it's not going to be an outpost of the HSE or some other state agency. That has been difficult, but we are managing to stay true. Funding resources and the community programmes is always a challenge, and then finding that balance between those three elements is always a challenge, because not everybody will want you to spend as much time on the community as you might like, or maybe not as much time on the creativity. So keeping those three plates spinning, I suppose, is a challenge. But I think there are lots of possibilities, and I think location is one of our possibilities, because we're located halfway between Dublin and Belfast, so we have a very big catchment area, but we just have to get people to be willing to travel to us. And once people have come to see what we have, they come back, but it's that first getting people to come and see what we have. And we have a unique proposition. There's nobody else doing what we're doing in our area, and I think we need to maybe shout a bit louder about that. I suppose we had the needs identified beforehand, so we did have a core group of people who really believed in what we were doing, and we have a very open and inclusive approach. Anybody can come to us and propose anything, and hopefully we'll try and work with everybody. And we've managed to get great buy-in locally from the agencies, and finally this year from the County Council. They are supporting us now, which has been fantastic. That's kind of given us another lift this year. So what's next? We've been successful, luckily, under the Enterprise Ireland Community Enterprise Initiative scheme, so we're launching a virtual incubation programme. So this is looking at some of the companies that are currently using just a postal address service with us, looking at how we can, and we're collaborating with Millmount Enterprise Centre in Drogheda, so looking at how we can bring those small companies to the next level by having a targeted programme for them. We're undertaking a feasibility study into establishing a fab lab, so that's going back to the idea of digital fabrication and opening that up to the community and to entrepreneurs. And we're also then hoping to run an ethnic women's entrepreneurship programme, because that's something that's kind of close to our hearts, and we have a core group of people who are interested in working with us on that.